This is Archer. He likes to sleep under end tables next to where I'm working. He likes this one, which is actually an oak end table I made in a previous build, but even for his small size, this one is still pretty cramped. So I'll be making a new one out of 2x4s from my previous workbench builds. And my first step is cutting 8 pieces at 22 inches for the outer legs. I'm gluing 2 pieces together to make each leg, so a flat face is a must to have a nice glue up. And you can do that with a joiner, a thickness planer, or a hand plane like I'm doing here. Next I'm squaring up the legs, which of course would be easier with a joiner, but you can use a hand plane just like for flattening the faces. It is more effort and can take some more time just making sure things are actually square and flat. But after that I could cut the legs to their final length of 21 inches. I cut them at 22 before just to leave some extra space for glue up. Here's the bed I bought, which I'll have a link for in the description. Now I bought the bed first because I wanted to lay out the legs around the bed to make sure I had the right lengths for all of the stretchers. Now I'm starting with the sides. I'm cutting 5 pieces at 15 inches, and I'll connect the sides later with different stretchers. Now I'm ripping 3 pieces in half, but I would recommend just buying 2x2s if you're going with construction lumber because of the risk of kickback. This next step is optional, of course. With all the stretchers, I'm just shaping them a little bit with an electric hand plane. I had a lot of fun doing this on my workbench build, so I thought I would do the same for the stretchers. For assembly, there's a number of ways you can put this together. I'm going with glue and pocket screws. I put pocket holes in all the stretchers, and then I just screw that into the legs. It's effective, it's very easy, but of course you can pick any joinery method you like. Next I'm cutting 4 pieces at 23 inches to connect the sides together, so these are going to be my width stretchers. And I'm ripping 3 of these in half, again to make some 2x2s. And just like I mentioned before, you're better off buying 2x2s if you're using construction lumber. Of course choosing a nice hardwood is a great choice, but you can see some of the struggle here and some of the danger of trying to rip 2x4s. Now what's different from the sides is I have some stretchers on the bottom to hold the dog bed off the floor. I'm adding a 2x2 stretcher to the top instead of 2x4 like the sides. This way there's more headroom for Archer to get in and out from the bed. Next I'm adding the slats, which will connect between these 2 bottom stretchers. Before attaching the slats, I'm going to finish the frame and the slats with oil-based polyurethane. And now I'm doing this before attaching the slats just because it's a whole lot easier than trying to do it after. Moving on to the top, I'm cutting 8 pieces at 33 inches, and I'll cut the top down later to 32 after the glue up. Now I'm trimming and kind of pseudo joining on the table saw. I'm primarily getting rid of that round over, but you can kind of joint with multiple passes. I'm using a hand plane to flatten the top, but while I'm at it, I'm also going to add some more shape to it, similar to what I did for the stretchers, adding some different angles here and there, just to make it look better than a boring rectangle. My last step is to attach the top, and to do so, I'm cutting some grooves just using a biscuit joiner, and I'll use Z-clips just to screw the top on. This way the top has room for expansion and contraction.